Hi, everybody. It's Mariah. I hope you all are doing well. I certainly am. I'm happy right now. And I hope you guys are too. Um, Apologies for not posting for a little bit. I'm sure you guys are fine with it, but I wanted to apologize anyway. Um, so I hope you enjoyed my interview with Artistically Insightful. In my last video. I plan on doing something like that again. I liked having them on my channel, and I'd like to have someone else on my channel as well. Um, I'd like to give you a shout out, Artistically Insightful, and Stories with Sloan. I'd like to give you a shout out as well. I'd like to collaborate with you sometime as well, if you'd be into that. Anyway, you guys, today I thought I'd differ from the norm. Um, I'm not going to do a Keep and Company video, and I'm not going to do a trans life video today. I thought, since I have seen quite a few of my favorite YouTubers over time do this, and it doesn't seem to have spiraled downhill as far as popularity, I'm going to tell you a few horror stories. Not stories of me being bullied, not, stories of being homeless or anything, or trans life horrors, but more like if you read a horror book or watched a horror movie, but it was real things that were happening, that type of thing. So if you don't like that kind of thing, then click off of this video. Or if you usually don't like that type of thing, but you just like to hear me talk for some odd reason, then stay here. But I really don't have much else to say, so I guess I'll dive right in. This first story happened at the care home that I ran away from. Um, and let me back up a little bit. At this care home, I had a few people that did care about me, a few people that did like me. None of them were staff, of course. But one particular person was my friend. We'll call her Tiki for now. I'm not quite sure we'll ever see each other again, because I stopped seeing her when I left the care home. Anyhow, me and Tiki, we liked to go on walks together, get out of the care home, get away from the vicious life that was this terrible place. Anywho, we like to take walks. One day in the spring, I believe, don't remember specific details about the time of year or anything, but it was a warm day. So we took a few snacks and we took water bottles and we took a walk away from our house to, into the woods that were very near us. Okay, so we were careful to put on bug spray and bring snacks, bring water. We didn't know how long we'd be out, so we just got money we brought some of her money too. Anyway, we loved walking through these woods because they were beautiful, especially during the spring and the summer. The trees were green and the sun hit them just right. It was wonderful. The ground was not, for some reason, the ground in these particular woods was more dirt and less leaf and twig, and if you get barefoot, you're likely to stab your feet. Anyway, one day we were taking one of these said walks. We were just chilling, leisurely walking, not really saying much, just being friends walking together, and suddenly we heard what sounded like this muffled scream. And at first we thought it was each other. it was kind of one of those moments in a movie where you're going, stop messing around. That's not funny anymore. It was funny the first two times. Now it's not funny. You're freaking me out. That type of thing. Because it happened a few times. Then when we finally realized it wasn't me and it wasn't her, she got shaky, and I got this really concerned look on my face. I think I was shaking as well, actually, but we're like, should we go back or should we just keep walking? And I don't know what compelled us to do this, but we kept walking. Because by the time we'd finished debating whether or not we should go back, we had stopped hearing the muffled screams. Okay, so it was like, fine. So after, I don't know, about 30 minutes, we decided to, venture off in a direction that we hadn't been in these woods before, but we had these little landmarks that we like to make. We built little, again, it's like a movie. We built little forts out of logs, and we built little, we had we had made a tent literally out of blankets and tarp that she had bought. And, nobody really ever came in these woods, surprisingly. So, like, if it was nighttime and we couldn't find our way back in the dark, or, like, we had flashlights, but they were in the tent. So going in the tent, we might as well stay in there. Things like that. We had blankets and pillows, and it was a fort. Anyway, we decided to veer off in a direction we had not been before. So we made a few landmarks, and ventured that way. We spent about 15 minutes walking that way, and suddenly we heard something else. It was not a muffled scream this time. It was more like, I guess more like sobbing? Like, it was more like, yeah, it was more like sobbing. So this time we were like, fuck this. We're going back. So we turned around and started quickly making our way back. Because I'm sorry, we really wanted to help this sobbing person, but we didn't know if this person was sobbing to draw our attention so they could kill us, or whether this was somebody legitimately being scared, or had run into the woods just to sit down and cry and get away from drama for a while. We didn't know what the hell was happening. So just in case it was any of the negative things above, we booked it. But as soon as we passed our tent, to go back home, we heard movement inside our tent that had been set up here for, I don't know, 8 months and never been bothered. Because we'd always come back and make sure everything was as it had been before we got there. This time, there was actually somebody in there. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know whether to pick up a few sticks and shout at somebody, or if this was a homeless guy that thought he'd found heaven, or whatever. So we stood hesitant for like, I don't know, maybe a full minute. And then suddenly this big burly guy, shirtless, but, clothed otherwise, with sweaty, matted brown hair. I remember him all too well. He came out, and he looked at us, and he grinned. This very uncomfortable grin. Well, it was uncomfortable for us. He did that head down, creepy grin, and he had a bunch of missing teeth. And then he just went and ran. Like, he blew us a kiss and he fucking ran. We looked at each other and we were like, do we even want to go in there? We decided, of course, that we did. So we opened our tent and we walked inside. There was another person in there, sitting down on the ground, legs out in front of them, eyes open with a horrified expression on their face. And we decided that maybe this person had been attacked by this guy and might not do us any harm. So we started going, hey, are you all right? Dude, hey, hello. And this guy wasn't responding. We thought maybe he was just frozen in shock and fear. So shit. So what we did was I left, okay, and Tiki stayed, and she stayed there with this guy in case he wanted to start moving. I left to go back to the house and get a few snacks for this guy. Get him some water, some soda, too. But the scarier thing was when I got back, I got in the tent and this guy was still sitting there going, and Tiki was going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I was like, what? But what happened? Did the guy come back? She goes, no. Look at his eyes. And I was like, I know, they're widened in fear. No. Look at his eyes. So I was like, look at his eyes, okay. And I took a closer look. His eyes had been pinned open. Jesus fuck. I was so scared. His eyes had been, like forced open with safety pins. And I was like, oh, I don't know why I hadn't noticed it before, but Jesus fucking Christ, this guy was dead. This guy was sitting in our tent, dead. And he looked, by the way, he looked to be no older than 14. And so here we are, two adults sitting in a tent with a dead 14-year-old. We didn't know what the fuck to do. We didn't know if we wanted to call the police. We didn't know if we just wanted to leave him here, burn the tent, and never come back again. We decided to go home and call the cops, okay? I don't usually call the cops about anything, but this was... this was a split... Not really a split-second decision. This was a desperate, attempt to find out what the fuck was going on here. And we described to the police, the guy who we'd seen and what the guy had done. And of course, they'd never gotten any reports on this guy before. I don't know why I said of course. They'd never gotten any reports on this particular guy before. And they had a lot of trouble figuring out who our little friend had been. And I don't know if they ever found out, because the shitty little government phone I had, you know, it stopped working like shitty little government phones do. The house phone was almost never answered. Nobody was really there to answer it a lot. Um, but what we did with that tent, suddenly it had started to stink like really bad. The blankets, the sheets, the tarp. We noticed too late was splattered with blood, and this guy who had been sat back first against the rocky wall that we built for our tent. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Anyway, um, duh. Yeah, this is true, you guys. This is not. Oh dear God, this is terrible, and it was horrifying, and I hope none of you ever have to go through anything like that. But anyway, what ended up happening was we never went into those woods again. We stuck to getting a ride to Overton Park and walking through those woods, when we could. And we stuck to just taking a walk and exploring other areas like abandoned buildings, which is I have other horror stories for that. But yeah, uh, I I think I'm gonna leave it at one horror story at a time. I might have another, you know, I might keep this going as like a series or whatever, because I have a lot of terrifying fucking things to tell. um, and I might just make a story channel. Some of them will be horror story. That's what I'll do, not channel. I'll make a playlist where I tell you stories, and you know, they're not going to be all horror stories. This particular one happened to be, but if you have your own true horror story to tell, excuse me, leave one in the comments below, and I'll cough. I'll read it out loud the next time, that I upload. Um, God, excuse me, you guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'll read it out loud if you want me to next time I upload a story. But if any of you guys have any terrifying stories such as that one, leave a comment down below. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be like that one. If you have any stories to tell me, yeah, tell me down below in the comments. If you liked this video, clicking the like button would be appreciated. If you just don't want to, that's okay. Like, duh. If you like me enough to see more material, I'd recommend pushing the subscribe button. But again, I could give 2.5 shits how many subscribers I have, but subscribers are appreciated. You guys, I love you. Anywho, I think that'll just pretty much be it for now. If you want me to keep telling you stories, if you want me to have a stories playlist, let me know in the comments. Like, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to oblige. Well, I guess there's not really much more to say here, so I'll wrap it up. But I hope you guys are staying safe. Wear masks in public. Practice social distancing whenever you can. Try to do most of your shopping online, and if you have to do it out, please practice your social distancing. Don't be a fool. Well, I guess that's it for this video. I love you guys, and again, if you want to see more, if you want to hear more stories, horror and otherwise, leave a comment down below, and I'll make this a playlist as well. So I really hope you're having a good day, night, or afternoon, whoever or wherever you may happen to be. So, until next time, this is Mariah Harper signing out. Mwah! Okay, guys, so I ended the video a little too early. I forgot to tell you guys what the muffled scream was about that we had heard before we approached the tent. On our way back, we passed where we'd heard the muffled scream, and there was another person. There was a man older than the boy we'd found in our tent, and he looked a lot like the boy. I'm terrified to say we think it might have been his father, but he was tied to this tree, and he'd been killed. I will put it bluntly, he'd been killed in a very brutal fashion. I'd rather not go into details, but yeah, that is the reason we never went into those woods. I'm of course going to leave a warning in the description of how terrifying this story is, but anyway, like I said, if you want more stories, not necessarily horror stories, and the horror stories I will tell need not all be this terrifying. But if you want more stories in general, leave a comment down below, and if you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe, please do so. And anyway, have a great day, night, and afternoon, whoever you may happen to be. Love you. Mwah.